Um, Good morning. I'd like to go ahead and call to order the Parks and Community Services Committee meeting for Thursday, January 16th, 2025. The first order of business then would be approval of the minutes for our most recent meeting, December 19th of 2024. You'll find that in your packet. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Would someone like to make a motion to approve them if there are no changes?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you, Tom.
I second it.
All right, thank you, Anita. Or Betty, I'm sorry, I think that was Betty that said that. Okay, so just by show of hands, who approves that? Any nays? All right. Thank you. Public comment. I see Jan. Hi, Jan.
Hi. I am Jan Siebert Warmond, and this morning I'm speaking for the Acola Creek Awareness Project, also known as ECAP, and that is PO Box 181, Cannon Beach. Dear Parks and Community Services Committee members, as you may recall, several months ago, ECAP was offered a wood duck box for the city from the Tureen Filgus Foundation, the same generous group which donated the Purple Martin houses to the city through ECAP. ECAP is now researching buying a pole for the box and would like to put the pole near where the old wood duck box was located, just to the south of the southeastern pond dune.
Someone's even here.
Pole is preferable to putting the box in a tree, as was the old box, due to predation dangers of the wood ducks by raccoons, according to Schwabe Tareen of the Tureen Filgus Foundation. ECAP would like to work with the Parks Committee and Public Works to establish the exact location and installation of the new box and pole. Last year, we did observe a beautiful pair of wood ducks with several babies in the southeastern lagoon pond after having had a number of years with none. We'd like to help encourage the wood ducks to come here again, as they once did many years ago. As some of you may know, wood ducks are known to be some of the most beautiful ducks in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Are there any questions for Jan? Jan, I'm not very familiar with what a wood duck box might look like. Is this a large box similar to the Martin house? Is it that kind of a shape?
It's not that large, but it's,
Okay.
yeah, I'll bring it in and show you guys.
Okay.
So I just might suggest that if Jan brings it in, maybe we set up a site visit, you know what I'm saying? It's good for all of us to get
Good
outside.
idea.
Go walk
Good.
on the trail over there and let's pick a location.
So maybe
Excellent.
for next month, maybe. If
If-
possible.
If possible, Les can get with Sherry and we can get it on the agenda. I know as the day's coming up, we're pretty busy, but if we can sneak it in, that'd be great to get outside for a few minutes.
All right. I think that's a great idea. Any further discussion?
I'm sorry, I apologize for coming in late. It talking about wood duck box on a pole
Yeah,
as opposed to on a tree.
yeah, because,
Would it be a similar pole to the Purple Martin houses?
well, that's what we're still researching.
Okay,
So
it involves digging and concrete and stuff like that.
that we're also still
Okay.
researching.
Thanks.
All right, well, then that's a perfect segue into our next topic, which is state of the parks.
Morning, AJ's off today. I'll review what we've done in the last month and bear in mind that 3/4 of this is AJ's doing. We work together. But anyway, okay, so what we've done is we moved the soccer goals from the park and stored them in our winter storage site. We started weeding and pruning the rose garden. It's a tedious job, but we're working on that. We had a sort of a fading redwood tree in the main park that Mark Morgans is very familiar with. Anyway, we pulled it out and put in a short pine and we potted the redwood. It's going to be fine, but we think it was too wet or too much clay in the main park, and we replaced it with a bigger short pine. We replaced the 2 flags at City Hall. All of our riding mowers are in the shop for their annual service. AJ bought a new edger and has edged the sidewalk along Fifth Street, and he'll be doing more of that. He's pruning trees in the downtown parking lot. He planted 3 new trees, a redwood and 2 cedars along the west side of the Lagoon Loop Trail. Took down all the holiday lights around town. Did a little storm repair here at City Hall where the skylight blew out there above the entry. After the storm, AJ's helped the roads department. I think we had 14 signs come down that they had to rebuild and then replace. Wow. And the Fisherman's Dance sculpture at the bottom of the Sunset Hill by the Sunset Pump Station is going to be taken away and cast in bronze and put back, and it'll be there forever. We have a bronze artist, eastern part of the state, was much like it happened to the whale many years ago. The whale was wood, it fell apart, got repaired a few times, took it away, cast it, and we get the bronze. So it'll be, if it's anything like the whale, which is a perfect, casting. In other words, even the imperfections, even the repairs we made on the whale show in the bronze. Anyway, that's going to happen to the Fisherman's Dance, the 3 statues at the bottom of the sunset, which I think we've been looking at it for years and we got a good deal.
And just to elaborate on that, the storm we had on Christmas night, the cleanup was we had a lot of cleanup in town. So AJ was busy with that, so we had to take him away from his usual duties for cleanup because we are significantly short-staffed. And so AJ helped us out significantly. I'm sure you guys saw all the stuff down, all the debris down. Yeah. In my opinion, we got that cleaned up pretty dang quickly and got the town straightened out.
Mm-hmm. Historically, the roads department and the street department, we have fewer like daily must-do jobs. So we collaborate a lot together and help each other out, like moving the soccer goals and whatnot, but we get along good.
Thanks, Kirk.
Yep.
And AJ.
Thank you.
And everybody.
I know it's been a difficult time weather-wise, so thank you for all of the hard work that I know it takes to keep things moving. As I sit here in sunny Texas, anyway. Next item would be the right-of-way trees. I don't believe there are any right-of-way tree notices in our packet this month. Does that mean we can anticipate a big batch in the future? Surely there were a lot of that happened through the storms.
Yeah, those ones that happened during the storms, those actually fell down and the fire department actually removed them off the roads. And we were just involved with cleanup with that. But I don't have any trees in the hopper right now. No.
Okay. Well, very good then.
But I can't guarantee it. Tomorrow might be a different story. So.
Oh, I understand. Thank you. Any other comments or conversation around trees? No? Okay. Heritage trees. I don't believe there have been any applications received as far as new heritage trees for this month.
Correct.
Jan, what have you got?
I just wanted to say that the birding group the last month did see a Cooper's hawk in the heritage tree.
Oh,
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And just.
Ah, thank you. Very good. Okay, moving forward, I guess I'll go ahead and make a few comments with regard to the tree focus group. It was the proposed new tree protection code was viewed by the city council in its most previous meeting. That was on Tuesday of this week. I would generally just say that it was met with kind of mixed reviews. There were several public speakers who spoke out against it, and there were several public comments that were in favor of it. My sense of the dialogue or the discussion that the city council had, there seemed to be there's still a lot of concern around how preservation of trees is likely to inhibit the construction of needed housing. And I think that conversation is going to continue to have to go along. There was also a kind of a sense of from the community that the fees that we're proposing for trees that are removed but cannot be replaced are actually in effect a hidden tax, and could be cost prohibitive, to folks who want to develop their own property. I think although we don't think that what we're proposing is out of line with what other cities are doing, that certainly is a hot button issue for the community. And then there's two issues that came up that are not currently addressed in the code. One is removal of trees for fire protection or fire prevention. I know, Mark, you've mentioned that in the past. There's nothing in our tree preservation code that deals with that. Nor is there anything in the code currently that somehow allows for invasive or non-native trees to be replaced because they are invasive or species. So those are two things that came up in the dialogue on Tuesday. The focus group will be getting together again pretty quickly. I don't think there's been a meeting scheduled as yet. And then we will come back and get in front of the city council again next month. So any questions that I can elaborate on for the trees? Hey, Jan.
I just wanted to say, my understanding is we'll be in front of the council again in March.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's exactly right. I couldn't remember the date. It's all right. Any other dialogue there? If not, we'll move forward. Oh, Betty, did you have something?
I just wanted to thank you for your group for everything you've done. I mean, it's been a long year for you folks. And I know you've tried to do everything you could to protect the trees. And anyway, thank you. Thank you all so much.
Well, thank you, Betty. Of course, Jan works with me on that group, and then I'll make sure to pass that on to the other folks on our group. Tree City USA, I don't believe there's any update to that. We did get approved for Tree City USA again. And then Betty, you want to go ahead and, or Mark, give us the monthly cleanup update?
Betty, do you want to start? Do you have anything?
Sure. I know that in January, December, I heard that there was only three souls out working, but one of them was Brandon, and Jan, I think it was Jan and Brandon and
Barb.
and who
Barb.
is it? Oh, yeah.
Barb, no, yeah.
Oh, Barb Knopp, yeah. And so they really did a big job, and I appreciate their efforts in the cold December dark months. And this week we're going to be meeting at by the sewer ponds and continue the work that the Ecola kids have been doing, and Mark has been leading that group, Mark and AJ. So thank you everybody for all the hard work you're doing out in our beautiful landscape.
Yeah, thank you.
I guess the only thing I'd add is, yeah, it's been pretty rewarding working with the Ecola Bible College work crew, students there. They'd been off for a couple weeks because of the holiday break, but we're back again this week, and we kind of finished up some work along the paved trail on the west side of the water treatment ponds. I think we got most of that looking real good, and like I was sharing with some folks, it's just been rewarding because it was a nice day, Tuesday. Several people were on the trail, and everybody we interacted with that stopped and actually talked to us thanked the city, and then the kids, I'll call them kids, for doing that work. So it looks good. I think we've opened it up to help with to access some of the invasive species, be able to get rid of some of the blackberry. We took out some of the larger holly and a little bit of the English ivy also, and removed a few branches from alder trees that were overtopping the spruce seedlings that were planted. So they were getting kind of overtopped. So that sounds good. And then also productive discussions this week with the North Coast Watershed Association about using the crews for some projects there. One of them that we talked about before was releasing some of the western hemlock seedlings that have been planted along Ecola Creek in the Forest Reserve. And I'm saying releasing because they've had some netting put around them, and that netting does need to be cut away so the trees can grow and expand once it's done its purpose. So that looks good. And then also, we haven't talked about the detail, but in the watershed itself was some rehabilitation work along the lower end of Ecola Creek. In the area, they said they've got some projects in there. They're calling in the horse camp. So it might be on some private property, but it's still good. And then it helps fulfill some of the one request I got from the volunteers, if you will, is they appreciated that their work was visible to others. And so, yeah, they know some of it's going to be in the Forest Reserve and maybe visible to only a few, but they really got a lot out of it personally and as an organization when folks recognize their efforts and thanked them for it. So moving forward, we'll make sure that they have that opportunity too. So sorry, I said more than I thought I was going to, but kind of fun. So thanks.
Thank you, Mark. And I appreciate you hanging around. I know you've got a schedule this morning. That does bring up at least a point of conversation. Since we don't really have a newspaper, particularly, it's hard to give people the publicity they deserve. And like Mark was saying, it would be nice if there were a way for us to let people know that that this work is going on. And I'd be open to any kind of suggestions on how we might do that. But without a newspaper, I'm a little bit at a loss.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a thought. Any other comments? Again, thank you, Betty. Thank you, Mark, for all the work you're doing. The next item is community grants, and I know, Sherry, you've got something in the packet that maybe you could walk us through.
Yes, so I went through on the dates. I actually pulled Jennifer's calendar for the council and kind of tried to work around that when things are due more so. I did on, I believe the 7th, I reserved this room for us to do the presentations. So if those dates don't work for any reason, let me know. I think it's, you guys are the ones that actually have to approve the calendar. But that's kind of the calendar that I came up with. It basically mirrors last year's calendar. It's just like one day either before or after. And we also had I believe we had a holiday in there, 2 of them actually, that I had to work around, so. If you see something that you don't like, let me know.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, I think the biggest one is working with the council. If you guys are wanting to have the checks out early again, like we did last year, which worked really well, I think. It just was crunch time because you guys are also working with 12 Days Earth Day at the same time, kind of. So that's what I came up with. You guys again see something that you don't like on the calendar that doesn't mesh, let me know. We'll figure out.
Okay. What is our meeting date in February? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
The third.
It's, let's see, so it's the 21st. So you're planning on starting, the public notice portion on the 20th, according to that?
I kept it the same.
Yeah. Is there any, okay. Is there any reason, do you think, and this is a question to the group, that we should delay that for a day to let us discuss it at our next meeting? I think we've already seen the language in or the packets, haven't we? Sherry, you put that in one of our packets, maybe in December, I don't recall.
Yeah.
But this, I'm just rambling here a little bit, but so on the 20th, all we're really going to do is put some kind of a public notice in the newspapers. Is that it?
Yes, it goes out in the newspaper and it does get posted to I believe our post office.
Okay.
One thing I would suggest on, I think last year we had an issue with one of our applicants. I would take a look at your application packet and make sure that, I think Anita brought up, she felt that I'm trying to think back, but I want to say.
Oh, don't attach my name to anything. That'll cause trouble.
I think you're concerned about making sure that they knew that this was a final, like if they don't get all the documents in there.
Right, right. Just giving them that.
I can't remember the wording, so you guys may want to go back and look at the application and see if you want something highlighted and read more, or I don't know, because it is in there, but I think that it was hard to decline somebody. So
Yeah, that I think was the point. That
yeah, so I don't think that would actually necessarily go for the posting notice, but definitely in our packet when they pull it up to do the application, you guys want to check that out before we send those packet or the applications out.
okay. Thank you.
So why don't we all put that on our list of things to do is take a look at the packet. Sherry, if you haven't sent that out, and my recollection is you have, but if you could make that available to us all, and then we can discuss it on the 21st to finalize it. Would that work?
Yeah, and I think it's hard to remember last year because I was pretty much brand new, but I want to say the application was also listed on our website. So I'm going to have to go to our website and verify it on that as well, because I think it's a reference to go to our website to pull the packet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do go through it one time before we publish, to make sure that we're not sending out something that we don't mean to. But other than that, though, at least the initial start looks good to me. We'll receive the deadline for getting packets back is the day after the end of 12 days of Earth Day. And then after that, it's a pretty steady agenda as I recall it. So it'll be good. I look forward to this process again. Any other thoughts, comments on the 12 days?
I just,
I'm not 12 days on the community grants. I'm sorry.
I just had a meeting with the Cannon Beach Academy, and their grant was to get new lights, and they just got them installed, and they're so excited because now the kids can see, and it's wonderful. So I got to see our grant in action. It was
Oh, wonderful.
quite heartwarming.
It's always good to get some positive, or at least some proof that we're giving the money away and people are benefiting. I believe that, but it's good to see it. Anything else on the community grants piece? No? All right, then finally, our favorite, the 12 Days of Earth Day. Of course, this is our January meeting, so one of the things that we need to do is if we are going to propose any new participants to any of the Earth Day events, we need to run them by Trevor in the city, through Trevor to the city, I suppose is the right way to say it. And personally haven't got anybody to add to the list that we've already discussed. Is there anything more that needs to be discussed on that?
I'll just, Recology is very excited to attend the street fair this year.
I'm sorry, who did you say?
Recology, Western
Oh,
Oregon
good.
based. Yeah.
Ecology. Okay.
Yeah, we had a meeting with them a couple days ago, not about this subject, but at the end of it, I brought it up and they're very, very excited to
Yeah, I
participate in
think
this
it's gonna be
year's
great.
fair.
Yeah.
Can you give me their contact info after?
Mark Morgans has that. He
Oh, okay.
communicated with Recology at the beginning of this.
Okay, good.
I'll send it to you. Thanks
Right.
for mentioning that, Trevor.
Yep.
And did you have something you wanted to add real quick?
Yep, I just talked with Betty recently. She knows this, but there is a wonderful new native plant organization near Olney. And we're going to take a field trip out there and check it out, but they might want to be part of this. We're not sure, but Betty and I talked and we thought maybe they might be a good new group to bring into the street fair. So we're checking that out. Thank you.
And that's near Albany?
Near Olney.
Yeah.
I've Jan, Betty, just so you know, I had an opportunity to talk to those. They had a small booth at the Astoria Sunday Market, and they seemed like the gentleman I talked with really knew their plants.
Yeah.
I was kind of quizzing them a little bit. Didn't identify who it was. So they knew their native plants real well, reasonably priced, and really seemed to have a mission. So they'd be a good alternate source. So I encourage your consideration of them.
Yes, great, great. I was also thinking about I haven't talked to the school yet, but the Cannon Beach Academy. We've been working on, we have an eco club after school on Mondays. And the school now has a worm bin, they have a compost pile, they have a little habitat for wildlife, they have bird houses that the kids built. So I was wondering if I'm gonna see if they would like to be the people at the fair that are explaining worm bins and compost piles, because that's what the adults have been doing that the last few years, but I thought it would be much more fun to have the kids, and maybe they could help Anita with the nature crowns. So I was trying to get the kids more involved in what we're doing. So if that's okay with you folks, I'm going to ask the school to have a little booth, or at least have the kids involved more.
I'm totally supportive of having younger generation learn about this. So
That'd be cool.
glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think that would be good.
I'll pursue that then.
And the only other thing I'd have is good discussion yesterday. Betty saw some of this in the email exchange, but with the North Coast Watershed Association, including Erica Clark and Kelly Daffron, and they were both very enthusiastic about both participating in the fair and in the lecture series. So we haven't worked out any details, but they'll have participants there. And my question relating to that, they had some questions, is there a logistics group that talks about, the schedules of activities? And one thing they were wondering is, how do they lock into their presentation time and dates so that they can make secure they've got it in? One question they had is, could they possibly do a lecture after the street fair? Just walk down the street and have a lecture maybe at the chamber building. So that was one of the questions that came up. So, and I didn't answer, so I'll follow up after the meeting with folks maybe in the know on that. When to schedule the lectures. Their preference was to do it like in an afternoon. They had one in Astoria last week. They said they had 40 people show up for an afternoon presentation regarding their group and the work they're doing. And I don't know if we could have that many, but maybe 20 would be a great turnout for us.
Oh, it sounds great. Yeah, a lot of the schedules is kind of a juggling act, but my take on it is we're open to their availability first and see if there's not a way to accommodate whatever they can, whatever they can do for us. I don't recall we've ever, well, that's not true. We have had some hands-on stuff after the street fair, haven't we, Betty?
Yes.
We have had things scheduled afterwards, and those were very well attended, if
Yeah,
I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I just want
So,
to
yeah,
clarify.
I mean, I would be interested to see what they would like to do, and then we'll try to make it all work.
I just want to clarify something, that when you talk about after the street fair, it's not off the street or the streets closed, because I need to get the road open back up as soon as possible.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for that. We were thinking if the chamber was available, just, walk right down walk a half a block away and
Yeah.
have it there. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. And
Yeah.
I apologize. I had a business meeting come up this morning, so I've got to drop and drive to Seaside. So
Okay, well, thank you, Mark.
thank you.
Thank you
Bye,
very
Mark.
much.
Les, do you know who I'm working with? Am I still working with you on the website? Items added? Because we need to update that, I believe.
Sherry, I didn't hear. Were you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry. Mike next to me. Website, we need to start looking at changing that, because I think it has last year's dates, at least get the dates on there. And then the updated poster.
okay. Well, Tom, do you mind if you and I get with Sherry? That was something that I did and have done for the last few years, kind of as part of the communication, since that's where we put all the schedules and everything. But I think it might work best, Sherry and Tom, if you don't mind, we can get together, me via phone and just kind of talk it through, and then Tom and I will jointly get you what you need, Sherry. Will that be okay?
I just wanted to put the reminder, the sooner that we get the website at least up with the correct dates, people can start planning. It's always good to have that done right off the bat.
All right. Well, thank you for reminding me. I had completely forgotten about that piece of it, but we do know the dates. Starts the 11th, ends the 22nd, I believe.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll start filling that in. But Tom, if you're amenable, we'll schedule some time to get with Sherry and kind of walk through that real quick.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Are there any other pieces about 12 days that we need to discuss today?
So, maybe Jan can let me know, or Jan, would you let Trevor know if these people want to join, and then the native plant people?
Yes,
And then get me that information, so that I can call them and see
okay,
once they get approved.
yes.
And then I'm gonna be looking for the Recology information too.
Yeah, Mark's going to send that to you.
Okay, good.
If he doesn't send it to you, Betty, in the next couple of days, just let me know.
Okay, thanks. I'm excited that they're going to be part of it.
And they're actually really excited for this.
Yay, good.
All
Okay.
right. Anything else? Hi, Anita.
Hi. I guess I'm feeling a little excluded from this 12 days organizing, and I'd like to be involved. I think that I offered to help with lectures and anything else that might be needed. And then when I hear that there's communications going on within the committee and I know nothing about it, I'm not quite sure why. But I am here as a committee member to do whatever's needed. So it's a reminder that if I could be included and be asked to do or be helped to do, I'm here.
Great. Well, Nita, I'm going to be working with you. As soon as I get people saying yes, I'm going to be having you help me, especially with the little ones at for the parade, and then for the
Well, I know
they-
that, Betty, but I think that I was asked to work on some of the lectures with Mark, and
Okay.
I'm not being included in that. And so I'm kind of at a loss on how to go forward. So if that becomes Mark's job, that's okay, but I need to know that. So, whether the library gets involved, as I think I had brought up, the History Center is involved, as I brought up. So I guess I'm just looking for a little more direction on what I need to do to do my part.
I think that when we were talking to the watershed people yesterday, he mentioned your name. So maybe just call him because I don't think there's an issue. I don't know. I think he was at a meeting and he talked to the watershed people. I don't think it was planned. It just happened. So
Well,
that's my understanding.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you guys know that I am a committee member and I'm here to help. So that's mostly what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, Anita.
Yeah.
From my perspective, what we really do need to know what the library and what the History Center might be willing to do and start getting those ideas together so that we can start fleshing out that calendar. I'll just say, would you mind taking the lead on that? It sounds like Mark is talking to some other folks. But we
Right.
definitely, need their participation if they're willing to do that. And I don't have a real strong relationship with Friends of Haystack Rock, but they did play a significant role last year, which I understand they're not going to have their speaker series. But I still don't know for sure that there isn't something else that they might want to do or be willing to do if we would reach out to them.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy. Yeah. And that's where, the last time, just with the holidays and everything and just wanting to get a little bit more information on the direction. But I think that the History Center might have some more information on what their lecture series will be during that time. And I know that Jen at the library is very enthusiastic about having the kids and a story time sort of a
Right.
situation. So I guess what, I would do then is just ask them what dates that they want. I think Saturday is best for the library. Jen did mention maybe like a 2:00 in the afternoon. So, but then I'm not sure. So if I do that, then I talk to Tom and Les. But see, that's where, unless it's at a meeting, I'm not really getting any information or communication. So it's hard to know where to go and how much I should take the rein on something. So,
I think
but-
the best thing is just to call Mark and you guys plan, get a plan of what you're going to cover and what he's going to cover, because you kind of know what we did last year and the year before, and you can see if you can hit those groups again, maybe
Yeah.
You both
Well,
can,
we met with Stacy, and that was really helpful, so that's where I thought, we were going off of that, but, then I guess I'm just feeling like I kind of got dropped somehow. And
Well,
that's probably on my end. I could have reached out and said, hey, what are we doing? But I guess that's what I'm doing now. So,
Well, and I do appreciate it, Anita, and part of it is frankly is the fact that I'm not quite filling the shoes that Stacy Benefield did last year. My being gone makes it much more difficult to have those little communications, but she really was a lot of the glue that coordinated this stuff, right? And so what I'm hearing, one thing is I need to step up my game a little bit, and I'll try to do that. But I do think that it would be very beneficial if you're willing to just go ahead and say, I will work with the History Center and the library and I mentioned Friends of Haystack because I don't know that they're going to do anything, but I don't know that we've really talked to them either.
well.
And I'll try to do a much better job of touching base in the interim. It's holiday seasons and travel have made it hard so far, but I'll do better.
Yeah, well, I understand and appreciate what you're saying. And, I just want to help and do my part. So that's what I want
Sure.
to convey too.
Well,
And I think that having Friends of Haystack Rock is, seeing if there is anything, even if they're not doing the lecture series, to have them involved. I just think it's important for anybody and everybody that we can and has been involved to continue to give them that opportunity.
yeah, and that's exactly what we need to be doing at this point is getting with individuals or groups and letting them know that there's an opportunity coming up and see if there's some way to make it work. I think last year, a couple of the events, so that we need to get on the schedule. Well, one is the, Jan, help me, the award.
Oh, the Gaylord Nelson.
Yeah.
Right. We need to get, even though we can't, it's not a city event, we need to schedule a time and place for that award to happen. And I think Stacy actually had identified, I think this was last year or maybe the year before, had either owned or had identified just kind of a video that we showed us at the History Center.
yeah.
And I think she kind of did that on her own. Those are pretty much fair game things, at least in terms of thinking about. We don't have to have an event every single day of the 12 days, but those are the kind of things that we've done in the past that you can kind of fit in wherever you want to. But I do think we need to get the Gaylord Nelson on our schedule. And I'm open to suggestions, but.
And Les, as I recall with Stacy, what she did is she had the venue set up first. She goes and gets History Center, Chamber, all that. So she had time slots and then she filled them. So getting your venue is the biggest thing because we all know that in Cannon Beach we're limited. So getting those times and dates that you can have the venue started. And then she went and talked to individuals to see if they could do a presentation at those times. And then she worked with them and filled the spots. And I remember on the calendar having those venues set up specifically for where the place was. And then having to change so often. Somebody wasn't able to go to this one, but they could do the one on such and such day. So that's kind of your step process. I don't know if that helps.
Logistics, yeah, but finding the venue makes sense that if you got that, then you can fill it in.
Right, to get the venue and then fill it in. So that would be a recommendation that I'd have.
Okay.
Tolovana and the History Center have been, I think, pretty readily available. Mark's comment about maybe using the chamber spot, that one I know last year was very difficult to get, but you know, if we wanted to do that, have the street fair and then let people just walk over across the street and go there for the North Coast Watershed presentation, we probably need to be talking to the chamber pretty quick.
Well, the Coaster Theater is another place that I feel like could be an option. I think Patrick is willing, if it was a daytime event, that might be, you know, it's already got seating and it's got a nice area for speakers. So I'll talk with Mark and see which one of us maybe knows Patrick. I don't know him that well to approach him, but I don't have any problem with asking if he might be available or if the theater is an option. I think that would be a great spot.
Remind him that he used to be on the Parks Committee.
There we go. Okay, thank you, Kirk. I will.
Yeah.
I will use that.
One of the things we
That'd be
found,
good to have that conversation. Just a reminder, we have no budget to pay for things.
Yeah.
That was a bit of the
Yeah,
issue, I think,
I
last
think
year
we
with the chamber.
Yeah,
But-
and just to
Yeah.
speak about the chamber for a second, you know, we're gonna be utilizing their space for
Yeah.
meetings in the near future when City Hall is torn down, so,
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
They might
that's
be-
one of the locations for our public meetings.
one of the things we found last year, we had an event at the chamber and it was a movie event. And it's not a good place, in the daytime, it's not a good place to show films, but the History Museum worked really well to show a film during the day because it's darker. So that chamber did not work. The screen is too bright and so you can't see. So
Mhm.
those are the little issues that we had last year.
Okay.
I wouldn't rule out the library completely. I know that they used to do presentations in the evening, and that was difficult for them because they had to completely rearrange basically their whole library to set it up. But that they might be willing to do that for us once if we thought we needed that space.
Mhm.
I just don't, you know, we could talk to Jen about it, but I know that they've generally prefer not to have to do that. It's a lot of work on their part to set it up.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
well, I have
I think,
direction
you know,
now.
that
Thank
this
you.
is kind of it. I do think that, Sherry, you're right, that venues might actually need to come first in some cases, certainly the chamber. But
At least
if we
check.
could get ideas about what days we know would not be available, that might help us plan. All right, anything else? All right, what about good of the order? Anybody got anything for us to share? Oh, hi, Anita.
Well, I just wanted to share, and I don't know, maybe Trevor can help me, but there was some talk and Counselor Hayes brought up involving the Parks Committee on a trail project. And I'm not sure, it might be tied to TSP.
Yeah, it's discussion of when we do the trails at some point.
Yeah, so
Involving
that's
the
where
Parks Committee with,
Counselor thought that the Parks Committee should be involved, you know, just as far as discussion maybe, but so I'm just bringing it up as a possible discussion as we learn more, I guess. And I guess it's up in the preserve area.
I don't think there's gonna be any place that's been dedicated quite yet. There's several
Right.
options in the ESP, but when we
Right.
start that process and we go down that road involving the Parks community.
Okay.
that's-
Well, I just remember Counselor Hayes saying that it should be, you know, the Parks Committee should be, so, and trails, I thought, well, that seems like it's a Parks Committee subject, so just wanted to plant that seed that actually,
There's a little background, there's a Parks Master Plan that everyone's forgotten about, and there's a whole bunch of trail stuff in there that maybe someone should look at. That was supposed to be effective for at least 20 years, and it hasn't even come close, so.
and you know, Kirk, it's funny because I tried to find the Parks Master Plan and the only thing I could get to was the TSP. you know,
I think it's unrelated.
right, but it's in the Parks Master Plan on the website, the city website, or I maybe pushed the wrong button.
Master plan somewhere, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's a hard copy, but I'm a
Well-
hard copy type of guy.
Would love to have a copy of it because was something that I was interested in, and all I could find was the TSP, and that didn't really seem to be the Parks Master Plan, so
See if I can find something too.
that'd be great.
Don't we achieved a lot of things in the master plan?
Karen has her hand up.
Oh, she's the one that will know what the.
Go ahead, Karen.
I just wanted to say that, council will be prioritizing all the stuff they discussed in the retreat. The retreat was not a decision-making, session. It was ideas, and they'll have future meetings where they establish what their priorities are for the year, and they'll make decisions relative to the trail. I agree with, Kirk 100%. We'll send out the master plan, Parks Master Plan to the team again. I know we've done this in the past and we seem to stray from that. But I think that this committee, this body should be making those ideas and as their focus before we start exploring other avenues. Shy of the council asking us to take something on, the TSP has not been approved for moving forward yet. So that we have no direction on that at this point, but I think it's good that you guys focus on the Parks Master Plan that is in place and has been adopted. That's all.
Great, thank you. Well, maybe we can get that on our agenda at some point and just kind of have it as reference to future discussions about,
Good idea. It's spent a lot of time and money on it.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just flipping through our homepage and I can't find it either. And I know I have found it in the past, but I can't find it. So maybe our first step would simply be, Sherry, if you could locate it for us, that would be helpful. But I haven't looked at it in a while, for sure. Any other things for the good of the order? We've got a few more minutes. If anybody wants to get on the soapbox.
Well, I'll say thank you, Les. I listened to your talk about the tree ordinance at the council meeting, and I just really appreciate your input and insight and just how you present. So anyway, I want to make sure I got that in to thank you.
Well, thank you, Anita. That is not my favorite job in the world, but I'm willing to step up if it helps.
Well, it does, you're just a good speaker, and so thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
When
then
you
on
come
that
back,
note,
when is everybody coming back? When is Betty back? When is Les back? When are we gonna be able to?
February 4th, I come back February 4th.
Okay, all right, well, that's pretty soon.
Warmer weather,
Well,
warmer, drier weather.
okay.
all right. If there's no more business to conduct, then let's go ahead and close this meeting a few minutes early. Thank you so much, everyone.